G'day and welcome. I'm about to go into the studio and start filming for a tutorial today. So I'm going to go in there and get myself set up, and I want you to come in there and join me. Okay, thanks for joining me in the studio. I'm Ian Applis, your acrylic guru from Australia. And before we get started, I'd always like to get the size and the colours going up the screen. Now I want to give a big shout out to Sketchepedia for the reference picture I'm going to use in this tutorial today. Beautiful, colourful sunset, ocean vibe, some waves flapping. So come on over here and I'll show you exactly what we're going to do, all right? Now here's the reference picture. I've analysed it and I've worked out how I'm going to do it so I'm not going backwards and forwards and getting tripped up. I like the sky, so I want to create this warm area here with the light coming down, and you can see how that's radiating light all over the rest of the lower half of the picture there. I want to capture that. I want darkness up here, and I just want some subtle waves, nothing too crazy and flappy, and maybe if I get time I'll put the rock and some shadows in there. So creating my horizon to the height from the reference, I'm going to use that for its area. That block of land coming down there, the tip of it is just lower than the horizon. So I know I'm going to do my sky now, so I'm going to just stick with my sky. I'm not going to keep going backwards and forwards trying to copy that sky exact. I know what sky I'm doing, and I'm just going to look here and paint my sky. Now I've just dampened my 2-inch putter on a brush, and I'm just going to pick this up. There's no retarder in this, and I'll get all the sky area mapped in just to my horizon area there, and I want to stroke that left and right and just get it nice and thin. Now I'm not using retarder because I don't feel I've got to blend any clouds in it. I'm just going to blend the colours, so I've got enough time to do that. Now I've got a smaller flat brush just to pick up some yellow ochre, and I want this glaring all the way around here, so I'm going to start in the middle and just keep pushing it outwards into the white there until I'm happy with that, and then I'm going to stroke that left and right just to give it a subtle, pleasing to the eye vibe about it. There we go. Now, okay, I'm going to pick up the quinacridone magenta in the same brush. I've just washed it out, and this is going to case the yellow oxide. Get this before it gets too much yellow into it, and just do that, and then start pulling it out into the white, up the sides, at the top. That white is helping this slide across the canvas there, just like that. There we go. If anything, it's just casing around it like so. Now what I want to do, see what's on my brush? I'm going to wipe all that off with a kitchen towel, and I want to merge those two, yellow and quinacridone magenta, together just in a pleasing way. There we go. I'll wipe it again, just in a pleasing way. Now I'm not going to look at the reference now and try and work out how far this is. This is where you can get tripped up. I'm going to stick with just looking at mine and controlling mine, because my painting's going to start taking on its own look from the reference. It's not going to look exactly like the reference. My paintings never do when I use a reference. Okay, down here I'm grabbing my phthalo blue, and I want to get this crisscrossed to the magenta there. It's got to be nice and dark over here. Crisscross it to the magenta, get it to the magenta. See all these big heavy strokes there? I'll try and stroke them away before I start merging. I'm not worried about up there for now. Now I'm going to wipe that brush again, and I want to merge that just into the magenta, leaving the yellow alone. And once you've done it, I've done it before and I'm going to do it again, is just splice it into that magenta and give it a pleasing to the eye vibe. Into the tip of my brush, and I can even grab another blush. I'll use this one. This is my putter on, just to make that a bit more pleasing. Now grabbing the rest of the phthalo, and it's going to get a bit darker now, up to the top. Don't bring any of this down to what you've just merged together. Do the whole top, and then we'll control a little bit more darkness up there with some dioxine. And this is just going to create a nice dark sky at night, I suppose. Or ready to be night, twilight waves. There we go, look at that. I'm controlling it. Now my brush is full of paint. I'm not going to keep coming down. I've got to wipe it again. Now I haven't washed the brush. I've wiped it. I'm grabbing the dioxine purple, just so as I can stamp in some darkness in the corners and right along the top. Now this is why I stamp this on, because if I rub it, you'll know what's happening. If you've got half a brain, it'll just smear and could go a lot lighter than what I intended it to. So I am looking at the reference just to get a vibe of where some of the darkness should lay for the lights and darks. Now I'll just wipe the brush and merge that with the phthalo blue. Now you can even grab a blending brush and blend it. I'll show you what I mean. Staying here where I'm going to blend the two colours, so I don't want to bring too much of that purple into the blue, and just get that tapered back together. And this is another way you can do it. Now I feel it is making it a lot lighter than what I wanted it, but it's still going all right. Just merging them together, nice and easy does it. Now what I'm going to do, I've got another one as well. See where the yellow and the red and the blues together, I'm going to try and just soften them up as well, just so as it's not so scratchy brush strokey. There we go, and you'll be able to see from one side to the other just how we've changed the look of the brush strokes. Coming up here, this side is more smoother, transitioning to this brush side. Now I want to grab the Indian yellow and just brighten up the middle there. So my sun's going to be about here, so I want to brighten this up, just lace it on, let it filter out into that yellow ochre. The yellow ochre has pretty much acted like a base for this, and I'm going to use a blending brush just to smoothen this into there to make it a lot easier, grabbing a cleaner blending brush. I'll start within the colour first before I start contaminating it. See how I'm dubbing all the brush strokes out of it? Then I'll wipe it and then just start smoothing that back into the other colour. Now make sure you haven't let it dry before you do this. If you've sat down and talked to somebody or it's gone and dried on you, that's just about dry now. I'm right on the limit. It won't merge like this and you'll be thinking, why did it work for him and not for me? Now you can use a brush or a pouncer. I'm going to use a pouncer. I've got just some flow titanium white here. That yellow that I just put on is still wet, and where my sun's going to be, which is about here somewhere, down the waves, yeah. I want to get that there and then just start impregnating that yellow with this white glare. Just like that. And once again I can grab that blending brush and gently tease that into that Indian yellow. Because without that white glare there, it's going to look a bit naked and empty. I can dry that sky now. Now I'm grabbing that magenta and just a little bit of phthalo blue. Grab some white. Now, like I always say to my beginners, if you want to stop at this level and you don't feel you want to add this section into it, you don't need to. Now what I want to do with this is just get some crispy, like I can see in the picture there, just some beautiful sweeping dark clouds. A little bit more lighter. And just nice, long and lineal, just gives them a more beautiful looking, pleasing to the eye vibe, I feel. There we go. Just added a little bit of white to these colours and I'm just scraping bits of highlighted versions of that cloud just to break it up a bit. just like that. Okay, before I dry it, I've just loaded up my toothbrush, and just around the very top, I might want to get some stars. I noticed in the picture there's some stars. So just in the night sky there. And these are going to filter in little minute stars, but I might have to get a brush or my paint pen just to make a few noticeable ones. Just grabbing a detail brush, loading it up with some paint, just so you can do the odd stamp. So I'll do a northern star here, right? Just something like that, a little bit smaller. There we go. Now I've just masked up my horizon line there. I've dried everything. Picking up the craft white again and just getting the bottom primed up. Now do not let this paint touch your masking tape, because when you use masking tape to get a horizon line and you're blocking it in with white, if this touches the masking tape, then you put your colour on, the white's already under there, so when you pull your tape off, you're going to get a white line out there, and you don't want that. So just bring this to the masking tape like so, and then the colour we put on can kiss the masking tape. Just like that. It's little buddy's brother's birthday today, the 29th of September.
Yeah, Sonny Boy Jimbo Bob's birthday today.
That's right. And it's yours tomorrow, isn't it, little buddy?
Yep, 30th September's my birthday. So yeah, a big happy birthday to Sonny Boy Jimbo Bob.
Yes. All right, now we'll put our watercolour on there. I've got some turquoise here, and I'm just going to first map it in this, and then once this is on, I'll get it lighter and darker where I want it to go. Now looking at my reference, this water stops about here. All right, just about there. So I'll get this right against the horizon tape there. Try not to push any of the white there. Let the paint hit it first. There we go. A bit more. Push it. Well, that's going to have land there, so I can go beyond that. That's fine. Just to about there. Because this isn't going to be dark water. And I want to come across. Now, if I was painting this on that dry canvas, it'll be very chalky and hard to control. All the way down to about there, letting it go light. I'm looking at the reference for the values of light. And then I'm going to stroke it left and right, just into that white there, like so. And now I'll get the sand colour. So I've got my yellow ochre here and some dioxine purple. Just adding a little bit of that at a time, and I just want to get that honeycomb coloured vibe going. Then I can darken it up and lighten it up. So what I might do is just put a chunk of it there to be lightened up later. Now I'll simply get this put on. Picking it up, getting all the way across the bottom there into our water. Scrunch it to the water there, get this the vibe you want, and now just simply marry the two together. I'm forcing it together. There we go. Now I'm going to just look at the reference for the lights and darks, and I want it quite brighter over here. So that pile there, I've just grabbed some more white and put into it. And I just want to get this a bit brighter. I might have to get I do have to get the turquoise to make the waves. I'll show you what I'll do there. Now we need that darker colour just in the corner here. So just wiping the brush, picking this colour up here and adding some more dioxine down here is a nice and dark. There we go. And along here, that's it, to about there. And then just scoot that together. All right, I want a good flat brush so I can get my darker values in there. And I'm just going to use the straight turquoise. And I can pull this tape off.
Yeah, let's see you get that off, Ian.
There we go. No white ridge of paint out there on the horizon line. And grab your stick and get the darker values in there now. I've dried the painting a little bit. Now we've got, I should have left that tape on because the very top of it's got to be dark. So I'll leave your tape on to do this bit here because you want the top of it very dark. Now, like I said, I've dried the canvas a little bit. So it's kind of rubbery dry, not 100% bone dry. So that's dark to the very top of the horizon, and then it'll just fade a bit paler. Now out here we've got another dark one, just from about here. Inside the wave's always dark. I've given it a dry, and watch that line that I just put on there. It'll be able to stay the value I want it to be. There we go, look at that. And let the bottom of that fade down a little bit. There we go, just fading down. And then we got another one, where are we? Oh yeah, we got another one about here, kind of. I'm just getting the top sharp first, letting it fade away there somewhere. Okay, and now there's one more wave just at the front, but not as long. So that's about there. So if anything, they're coming shorter and shorter to the right-hand side. So from about here to about there. Okay, I don't need the stick for that because that's a bigger wave. It's not so tiny. And this is going to... I'm just going to scrape it in like that for now, but that's the gist of this one, okay? I'm going to just keep dabbing it on till it's a nice value that I want, but I want those bits just finishing there. Now look at the sky, look at the water. All that was done in sections. It wasn't that hard when you know what to do. So just remember, when you practice all those elements, you can do it. What I want to do is get some of this here, just for now, because it's going to be a dirty white. This is going to be up here. Just the wash onto the sand there, the flat bit. I'm just getting bits of this tinkered and laced around like that. There we go. Look at that. We got anything up there? Maybe something just so light there. Keep these in cahoots with the horizon line. See, I didn't bring the lines down like that. And that's it. Just the minutest. I don't know if I want to. I won't do that out there. That's it. Now I've pulled some white into that phthalo turquoise. And this is where we will bring those waves to life now. So just at the very top of the one below, so this one down here, you want to bring this brightness just from there. Don't go into that dark bit. So I'm coming along the top of that dark bit. I'll do a little bit here. And then I want to just scrape that back into that top darker colour, letting them merge. Now it's up to you how good you can let them merge, but don't worry if it's not as neat as the next person, because it's your way, you've done it. So that's just fading into that darker colour. And this is so easy to do. And way out here where that's really light water there, because it's so shallow, the deeper the water, the darker it is. Same again, get right to the top of that dark bit, nice and sharp where those two meet. You don't want that scratchy. And then just merge that up there. So we want that nice and bright against the back of this wave. Now that one was the one I put the different brush strokes in, so I want to do it with this. And this is just kind of coming up into that, just like so on an angle. And we can whoosh this around here as well. I've just pulled some extra white into that turquoise there, just so as we can get right behind there now, even a little bit more brighter. Make sure your brush is chiseled doing it this way. And just at the top there now, nice, bright, not too much going up. Finishes it off. You can see from what I've just done. And I know if you haven't done this before and if you practice it, well, you can do it. Get your mojo back, everybody. If you've lost your mojo, it's not the end of the world. It's just your body telling you need a break from it. Glaring up into there. And then this can pull up into that previous colour like so. Into here, just to kill a lot of that darkness. So pretty much what you did there, go again, just smothering that darkness with this. Just like so, leaving the sand colour as well though. And see the bottom of the wave, I just want to bring it up to there, just like so. What I want to do now is grab this white, and it's going to be tainted with the turquoise, but I don't want it pure white. Now I want the most finest line, see here, finest white line, but I don't want it to stay as a white line. This is going to be quite glary all the way along here. I'll get it on there, okay, like so, and from about here I want to start stamping this on. I'm going to get this side bit done here, then I'm going to start drying it. So this is coming down to about there. Remember all that other paint I put on because I wanted it to be the dirty white. So this is coming up. I'm copying this bit off the reference, coming up and high and just sort of smashing down. And I'll put the appropriate shadows in this once I'm done, but I'll just get it there. So we're pretty much come up here. Get that a bit roundy, not so sticky. Get this all billowy. Now you might have to add more darkness to this because it's important you get those darker vibes. And some of this is just crashing down here as well. Before I turn it off and dry it, I'm just grabbing some of the turquoise on its own, and that white paint that I put, I'm just going to quickly mush that up with some white paint while they're still rubbery and wettish. And I do need a darker area coming off it for the shadow there, just like so. Now I'm going to put that white back over this while it's still a bit rubbery, and yeah, that way when I add the real whites I've got all that. Okay, back to using that tainted white again. Now we've done that, I've dried the canvas, and this is going to stick now because I've dried it. And I might have to change my brush as I go along just to get this being the shape I want it to be. So now I'll get an idea from the, okay, it's there and it's cupping right around that dark bit there. There we go. And we're going to get, I'm going to use the corner of this brush, see if I can do it. And we want bits of this splashing up there. Leaving that meshed up colour we just mucked with there, don't cover all that up. And leaving this shadow at the bottom, because the pure white's going to bring this home. Then scrape this backwards into the water just to get that whitewash. Find the darks there and sit over them. And with a bit of luck it will, it just turns out like the whitewash, but this ain't pure white. I'm kind of sweeping that up the wave there, as you can see. There we go, somewhere there. See what I'm doing here? I'm looking through there and it gives me a squinted eye look, and I could see just a little bit there needs some kind of vibe up her. No, not too. I won't detail this anymore. That's good enough for those little veins. That's ready for some pure white, the wave. So what I'm going to do is just start getting the pure white focusing where I feel it needs it, using the reference as a guide. So pretty much all across the top here. And I'm trying to make it fluffy and round and watery the way it looks in the picture there. I'm getting it crashing onto the shadow there, and I will put some other shadowy colours into this just to give it that look that it's desired, that it needs. And I might want some, I don't know, where's my sun going to be here? Get something ready for the sun to glisten on as well. Just, yeah. And some of this foam needs pure white just lapped on it as well, just to give it thickness and dimension and body. I suppose that's the word I'm looking for. Now I've grabbed the phthalo blue just on here because I want to get, oh, there's too much around here. I want it like it is in the picture there, so I want to create this. So I'm going to get some darker shadow just coming down here in this whitewash. Now I'll grab the pure white, a little bit of dioxine in there, just to give a hint of some warmth in there before I put the white on it. Switch that into that blue. And just back now to the pure white, dancing down here. All right, now in the picture, that's just stopped there, but I'm looking in my that looks a bit weird like that. So I'm picking up the white with some of the dioxine in it, just so it's not pure white, because I feel I'm going to have to start making some of this flick out like so. Getting some of the darker in there. Now watch what I do here. You need to do this because it's wet sand there. Picking up the pure white and just fixing that wave up. Bringing this back into that shadowy colour. This is just because I feel it looked a bit empty there. That's just giving the illusion of some glare in the wet sand there. I'm just grabbing some of this light coloured sand with dioxine in it, just to like sit that down, because it just feels a bit, you know, iffity-affity. So that's why I'm doing this. I won't touch it too much more, because I'm going to just put a rock here. There's one in the picture here, so I might just put it, that's the bottom of it, and I'm going to be cheeky and try and hide some of that, because I feel I could have went a bit better, but I didn't. And this is just a nice beach boulder. There we go. Now I'll simply block that in nice and hard. This is just burnt umber. See what it looks like on its own? That's why I blackulated it at times. It looks a bit weak. Now I've mixed up some dioxine with that black. Instead of black, I put dioxine purple. And I just want to get this side of that rock dark. So let's see if I need to dry it. I probably will, yeah. There we go. And if anything, you want the very bottom of this dark. That's why I didn't put black in it, because I saw the vibe in the reference and I thought it'll be a good for my painting as well. And we're just going to roughly get this side in shadow where the sun's not hitting it. I've got some yellow ochre, and this bit of mid-ground land that's supposed to be out here, I want to get that to the point. Now remember, it's coming just below the horizon line. Let's go from about here. I'm just using yellow ochre for now, and then I'm going to put my darker colours on it, because this will act like a primer. Okay, and I want to, what have they got? Just some kind of wiggly landmass out there, just like so. And why I use this is because it can filter around in a cove like manner. We're going to glare it up as well, but I'm just doing that. Okay, let's give that a dry. I'm grabbing the Viridian Green, and I want to see the ochre there, the yellow ochre. I want to leave that as the sandbank, and I want to just bring bits of trees. Is this brush going to be a worthiness one for it, or do I have a small fill? But I used to, but I'll be damned if I know where it is now. It happened. But yeah, my other filbert's too big. I'm going to have to buy some small ones, I feel. And I want this just tapering down like this onto that lower half there. Now get a lot of this darkened up. Now I'm grabbing the green oxide, and I did find a filbert, a smaller one, a nice little, that little cat tongue one I had. And I just want to gingerly highlight this now, leaving a lot of the darks there, but just giving this some kind of life and charisma about it. Now in the reference, it's got a nice palm tree sticking up there. I'd like to do it, but this video's going on quite a while. I want people to get the gist of what I'm trying to teach here. I don't want to bore the living buggery out of you if I can help it. I'm going to leave that a bit dark there. and just bring this over, because in the actual picture there's a lot of glare here. There's a shack, obviously like a nightclub bar or something on this beach, and it's giving off a lot of light, so I don't want to put that there. This is going to be just abandoned nature on its own, but I will put a bit of brightness in here somewhere where I can. I just pulled a little bit of the Indian yellow that I had down there into that green oxide, just to highlight it a little bit. And I just want to add some pockets of light within here. It's not a photo, so it doesn't have to be photorealistic. I want it to be pleasing to the eye as a piece of art.
Yeah, I feel you, Ian. I feel you real good about that. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so that's it. Just for those people, I've picked up that highlighted colour I just had. I just swiped in a little bit of dioxine as well, just so I can trace down this a bit, making it like a hill coming down from there. But we need a bit of the shadow there, so it's just from about here, and I just want to create some kind of it cascading down to here, so it's looking like it's not just what's happened there, something's a bit iffity-affity, you know. Simply grab some of the green oxide and bring it down over that, because if you didn't have this dark there, it would not look right. You need the shadows there. I just had to dry that because these highlights were not going to play ball with me. And we just simply want to bring that down there as well. Back down here, I don't want to just say I'm getting, I'll show you. I'm grabbing the dioxine purple. I've inculated it a bit, adding some hydrated water. And I'm just using a angled flat. And I want to get this right from there. Let's say about there. Boom. That'll do. That will do, yeah, that'll do. And then come from the bottom of your rock and just dioxine it up. Now I'm going to detail that rock, and I stumbled across this rock highlighting coloured barnacle type of thing in one of my other videos. I'm going to use this little brush, and I've got burnt sienna and raw sienna, and over that brown umber, simply find the highlighted side, which is about from about here. Get this right to the edge, but that's too hard. You want it dotty, like a deer foot would do. And just slowly filter it down. Yeah, so little buddy, it's your brother Sonny Boy Jimbo Bob's birthday today, eh?
Yeah, mate, yeah, he's 29th of September and I'm born on the 30th, is mine tomorrow.
Well, that's great. Well, happy birthday to you tomorrow. And a big happy birthday to your brother, Sonny Boy Jimbo Bob. He's got a bit of a big name there, little buddy. Do you ever have to pack a lunch so when you're saying it, you got something to stop along the way and have a bite to eat?
No, mate, don't be silly, I don't have to do that.
Righto, righto. Now I'm just going to gingerly fade away out here somewhere. Grabbing the raw umber now. Now do dry your work if you have to. Let me have a look. Yeah, I'm going to have to dry it. And just gingerly filter this back into that burnt sienna. And then once we put this on, we just simply give this the whitest, slightest little bit of white. And just caress. Now grab some of that with some white. Let's find some white. I've got plenty of white around the place. Here, where are we? Grab some of that. Now it doesn't have to be fully mixed, but don't have it too loud. And just simply get right to the edge, right to that edge there, man. And you'll see what I'm going to do here. This will pretty much make different shapes to the surface of that rock. And just those two colours over the rock squashed in like this, it gives it that, I don't know, like a barnacle kind of look, I don't know. But it looks pleasing to the eye, I feel. I'm grabbing some Indian yellow and white, and where's a little bit of magenta, just to get this vibe in there. Now coming out here, this white that we put there previous, you just want to kiss it with some of this sun-kissed glare there. Where else can we put some? Right against here, right on the top of that white. And all these little finishing details, these just add that charisma to your painting as you go. Probably get a little bit over here as well. Just getting that sunlight kissing it. Now I'm not going to go right to that bottom there. I left it because the waves are up and down. You do it all the way there, you'll end up making it look flat. I'm just gingerly getting some, oh come on, I've rubbed too much off now, some sun hitting the water here as well. Down here, and I feel I might put some of it here as well in my wet sand, but pulling it down because hopefully it gives the illusion that it's wet reflection. From about there. These are just simple and effective burnt umber and dioxine purple bits of stone here and there. Get our shadows of our rocks there. Just grabbing some Indian yellow into the colour there. Yeah, something like that. It's very little, but it adds good effects. A lot of sauce for little spaghetti, wouldn't you say? I like it. Okay, we'll sign this and we'll reveal it and whack a frame on it. Now, some of you might see that the reflections are going like this because I followed the sun, but if you're going to carry on and think I've done it wrong, well, hats off to you and have a great day. But I'm going to get down here and just sign this. And I want to thank everybody who supports my channel. Much appreciated. Check out all the links in the description below. Hit the join tab to become a channel member and hit the Patreon tab to become a patron and enjoy early content and supporting my channel at the same time. There we go, that is not too shabby. A beautiful turquoise ocean sunsetting scene. And I know you can do it. Well, that was exciting, fun and colourful. Now you tell your friends if you like what I'm doing, but if you don't, you tell everybody. Also have a look at this other video of mine. Goodbye, good luck and good on you.